Hello students, today we are going to take the last lesson in EVS for our written exam, changes in our surroundings. So let's begin with the lesson without wasting any time. Now as you see here, it is the picture of sunrise. Now what happens exactly during the sunrise? Now we all know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. We have learned this. Now we can see things around us clearly during the day because of the sun's light. So if you see, and this light of the sun is very, very mild or very, very soft. And because of this light, maybe the atmosphere is very pleasant. People go to many sunrise and sunset points, especially in Mahabaleshwar in Satara district. It is a very famous hill station and people do go there to watch the sunset or the sunrise accordingly. And Mahabaleshwar is known for its sunset points as well as its sunrise points. So it is very pleasant to see a sunrise. Now at sunset, as you can see, we see the stars in the sky at night and we also see the moon. But we don't see things around us clearly because it grows dark after sunset. There is not enough light, so there is maybe the light of the moon. So when the moon is around, you feel that it's still a little pleasant when the moon and the stars are around at night. And day and night affect living beings. Now, because of this sunrise and sunset, we've got something called as shadows. I hope all of you must have played, some shadow games where, you may be standing in front of the light and making shapes of some animals or even your own shadow, what you do, the shadow just does what you do. So it is your own shadow. Now, something about the shadow, it is now when the sun rises, its light is soft, the shadow falls to the west and they are long. So in the morning, the shadows fall to our west side. The sun rises in the east and the shadows fall to the west and they are long. Now shadows become shorter when the sun gradually begins moving higher in the sky. So from the east, it is moving towards the northern side. So there, when the sun is actually overhead, the shadows are very short. So that is overhead means exactly in the afternoon at 12 o'clock. If you notice, we can do it tomorrow and check out. The shadows are very short. Now the shadows begin moving to the east and they become longer. Excuse me. After the sun sets, various shades of colors are seen in the sky to the west. So when the sun sets, as I told you, there are tourists who visit Mahabaleshwar and it is a well-known place for its view of the sunset. And the sunset point in the evenings, tourists mostly go at this time to experience the spectacular sunset. So as I said, the sky has got various shades of color, maybe orange and yellow and red. Otherwise, the sky is blue. Now, the next part, what we are going to study is about rumination. Now, this is a new term for y'all. Now, here I've shown you some pictures of cows and cattle around. Now, these animals, they graze in the field. So you can see that they eat stomach full, and once they are sitting as this position, you can see here, they bring back the swallowed food back into their mouth and they sit and chew it again. This process of chewing it again for the second time or chewing the cud, is called as rumination. This helps the cattle especially to digest their food properly. So cows and buffaloes are animals that ruminate. So I'll tell you again, there are animals which graze like the cows and the buffaloes. They eat till their stomach is full. And when they're sitting, if you must have seen, they are chewing around. So you must be wondering how they are doing. Actually, that is their second process of digestion. So they start chewing the cud again, and this process is called chewing the food again. The swallowed food, they bring it back. For us, bringing food back to the mouth or outside is called as vomit. But for cattle, this, like for the cows and buffaloes, chewing the food again, the second time, is called as rumination, and this process helps them to eat, to chew their food well, or to digest their food well. Now we've got different animals who do this. Now, birds are the first to sense the end of the night. So the moment the night is over, you can hear the chirping of birds. So just at sunrise, the chirping begins from early dawn. So if you hear a rooster nearby, you can hear it crow. So it makes the sound cock-a-doodle-doo. And the birds leave their nest and they start flying in flocks. I hope you must have seen all the birds, flock of birds, going around in the sky, and they go there to search for food. Even buds begin to blossom gradually as the sun starts rising. The petals start unfolding, the flowers have sweet nectar. Bees come to collect it, butterflies, beetles, and other insects. They start hovering around the flowers. Even people and you children now, because of lockdown, maybe you are at home. But when you have your Zoom meeting, yes, you do get up, you get ready, and you are there for the Zoom meeting, ready to listen to what teacher is saying. Now, we've got another term, nocturnal. Now, nocturnal is nothing but as we all sleep during the night and we are awake during the day. Nocturnal means there are some animals which sleep during the day and they are awake at night to search for food. So these animals are called as nocturnal animals. We don't only have nocturnal animals, but we've also got nocturnal plants. So example of nocturnal animals are bats, owls, moths, crickets, and glowworms. And few examples of nocturnal flowers are Ratrani, that is queen of the night, and Rajnigandha, called as tuberose. Now, you must have seen the moon at night, or in the sky. And the shape of the moon, if you see, it changes because the moon rises at different times every night. So sometimes the shape of the moon is, like crescent. Sometimes it is gibbous, sometimes it is half moon, and sometimes it is full moon, and sometimes in the sky there is no moon. Okay, so the day the moon looks completely round, okay, the day the moon looks completely round, it is called the day of the full moon. So this is the full moon or the Purnima what we have. And then after for 15 days it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we see no moon at all. That time when we see no moon at all in the sky, it is called the day of the new moon. Now after the day of the new moon, the moon appears to grow bigger and bigger for 15 days and it completes and is completely round again. So for the next full moon. So when the moon is completely round, it is called as new moon day, as a full moon day, and when there is no moon, it is called as the new moon day. So the different shapes of the moon that we see every day are called the phases of the moon. So as we have already learned there, the moon rises at different times every night. The shape of the moon changes every day. The different shapes of the moon are called phases of the moon. It is phases. So what have we learned in this lesson? That when the sun rises, there is light, and that's why it is day. When the sun sets, it becomes dark and it is night. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. In the morning, shadows fall to the west and are long, and towards the evening, the shadows again become long and fall to the east. And during the daytime, when the sun is overhead, the shadow becomes very, very short. Now, the daily routine of all living things is connected to day and night. Now, the shape of the moon and the time at which it rises changes every day. And these different shapes of the moon are called the phases of the moon. The day on which we see the moon as completely round, it is called the full moon. And the day on which the moon cannot be seen is called as the new moon day. So I end with a lesson here. I want you to go through the lesson thoroughly, read it well at least 2 to 3 times, and I'll come in the next week with the notes of this lesson. So see you children. Read the lesson thoroughly. Bye bye.